Welcome, friends. Welcome to today's Reconsider It live stream. Best live stream you're gonna see all day. And here on this live stream, you are gonna get a very nice hour of some improvised live looping, all vocals like you're hearing now. This is all vocals going on. We got the foundations of a beat. I'm going to be building it up. Man, it's going to be really nice. Also, we're going to bring the synth into it. Whoa. We might even talk about stuff. Who knows what you're going to get here in this exclusive studio session. It's called Tinker Time. My regulars know what it is. Speaking of my regulars, with us already live in the chat, we have got the Reconsider It live stream. Welcome! You made the right decision joining us. We want you here. Right now, my friends, we are in a warm-up stage. We are simply hanging out. We are getting the blood flowing. It's really good. And here in this warm-up phase, my friends, I need to celebrate. I need to celebrate. Thank you for being here. Whether you are here with us live in the chat, whether you are here with us live but you are not in the chat, whether you are here with us after the live, you are with us on replay. However it is that you are here with us. Thank you for being here. I'm going to celebrate you at this time in this way. I have got my drink. I am going to count to 3, and I am going to clink. You are invited to join the rest of us as we cheers along and celebrate our togetherfulness. 1, 2, clink. Cheers, my friends. Man. I like that a lot. I love doing this with you. Please like this video. Please subscribe. Please share this video where it will be well received. Friends, we have got a Tinker stream on our hands. And to that end, I'm going to build up this beat a little more. Of course it's the door with which I shall support this Cornish has joined us. This is great. This is awesome. I see in the chat right now, or not right now, this is 3 minutes ago, but where'd it go? There it is. Lang is asking, have I missed out on the DAW/remix sessions? Now, I'm not sure. Lang may or may not be asking me that. I'm not sure if there's something in the chat that I missed, which is very plausible. But until clarified, I'm going to assume that Lang is asking this of me because in recent times I was indeed talking about doing streams with a DAW. Viral And I need to get a better microphone thing. I need to get one of those things that moves easily. I need one of those. I forget what they're called, but I know they're easy to find. So I may purchase one of those when I have the bandwidth. In any case, going back to the question of the DAW. As I said, I'm just going to assume that Lang indeed is asking this of me in reference to me doing DAW streams. And the answer is I have done testing, just as an update on where that's gone in the past. It had been going on for maybe like a month almost. My escapade figuring out a DAW I can use, and then also once establishing a DAW, can I stream myself working in a DAW? The current status on that is I have indeed sorted out successfully a DAW. So that's good. And what that means is I'm going to be doing more DAW work, taking my loops, moving them over to my workstation, and then, using the DAW to arrange and mix them and everything. So that's coming. You can expect that there will be, I cannot comment on the volume at this time. But it will be happening more than 0 ever, which is what it's been so far. I already released one, and by the way, this is a good time for me to promote this again. So I'm gonna put this link in the chat. I always tell myself I should be preparing links if I'm going to send them in the chat. Ah, there we go. I have put it in the chat, my friends. The link to my most recent track, Come Play. That is DAW. That was the song that I was testing the DAW I used, which was Reaper. By the way, DAW, D-A-W, Digital Audio Workstation. Making music, but not using hardware. So right now I'm using hardware. This is DAW-less. I'm not using something on my computer. But if I were using a DAW, I would be on my computer, but not using hardware. And of course you can mix them, clearly, and many people do. But anyway, this song that I just put the link for in the chat, Come Play, that's a rap song that I wrote, at this point it was probably 8 months ago-ish. That was after my other rap song from roughly that time called, what was the name of it? Here it is. Yeah, I'm gonna put the link for this one in the chat too. This is its predecessor. I just put it in the chat there. The song I was thinking of was Role-Playing Catharsis. If you've been with us for a little while, you may remember that song from it was about 8 months ago or so. I was going through some trauma processing at that time. It was really intense. It was a very, very disruptive experience. It was like interfering with my day-to-day life. I couldn't concentrate. I couldn't think. I was very, very, I was very overwhelmed. And at that time, I wrote that song, Role-Playing Catharsis, the one that I've just now put into the chat. So that's a rap. That's a 16-bar rap. Also using my loopers. But in that one, in Role-Playing Catharsis, I performed the song live on my loopers. You know, I'm putting the things up and down, you know, all this. So it's a live performance. But in the more recent song that I pinned in the chat, Come Play, that's also a rap track, but I did that one in a DAW. You know, I made the loops using my loopers, but then I imported them to the computer and used the DAW. I used Reaper. I used Reaper many years ago for a period of years. I haven't used it in a long time, but I am going to use it now for, you know, when I import my loops from the loopers and make a song out of them. Anyway, I'm still supposed to be responding to Lang here. The comment that I still have displayed on the screen, as you see right here from Lang. I'm getting caught up on the chat, by the way. There's a lot of chat here. I like how everybody in the chat here is having a conversation. That's always the coolest part. Okay, nice, good. That's the coolest part of the streams. How it's it's just a hangout. It's the place to be. So anyway, to address Lang's comment, DAW stuff. I'm doing DAW stuff, and in the chat, I pinned my latest DAW track. It's a rap that came from that same time when I was trauma processing. It's a different subject matter, but it's from the same time, so the same impacted experience. It's a different perspective and everything. Anyway, I've been sitting on that track for 8 months. I didn't really know what to do with it on the hardware, and I figured, hey, if I'm having a hard time with the hardware, why don't I try this for a DAW track? And it totally worked really well. I was able to come up with something I liked. I have another couple of songs that I'm going to be doing something on the DAW with. They're stacking up, and I'm a little overwhelmed by them at this point. So I'm going to need to chill out on that and do one at a time. Still, I haven't addressed Lang's comment. So I've addressed the fact that I'm using the DAW. How about that? That's half of it. But then there was the question of, will I stream what I'm doing while I'm working in the DAW? And the answer is, I did some testing, and at this time, I have conclusively determined that with my current technology and what I have available to me, I am technically incapable of streaming my DAW work, which gave me a big frowny face. So ultimately, to answer Lang's question here, have I missed out on DAW sessions? The answer is no. That's the concise answer to your question. No. But what did I take, 20 minutes there to talk about it? It's worth hearing for anyone else who hasn't gotten caught up on the story, I just finished the testing recently, so it's still pretty new news. But at this time, there is no expectation of DAW streams, which gives me a frowny face. I would really like to do that. Because when I'm working in the DAW, I can get in there for 2, 3, 4 hours easily and, you know, not even notice the time. And that's concentrating working by myself. So if we're hanging out and we're talking about stuff, that'll add more time. But at this point, I am not technically capable of streaming my DAW time. I still would like to, but currently can't. There are some possibilities that I haven't yet explored, so there may be some cause for hope. Otherwise, it may be more of a longer-term thing when I migrate to a different setup, which is not anytime soon. I don't anticipate anyway. Maybe something will change in the next 5 minutes, and it will be very soon. But my current trajectory and plans, there doesn't seem to be a solution immediately available. But I do want to do it, so I might try exploring some different options. But have to see. There are two aspects of streaming DAW work that may or may not be obvious to you. But different people who do stream their DAW time, just doing producer stuff, there's two basic forms that you see different people do. Some producers just do the DAW and that's it. And they're not on camera, they're not, on audio talking with you. They're just doing the DAW work. Maybe you see them in the chat, but as far as the stream content on the screen is concerned, they're just DAW. So that's one category. The other category is, what I was just anti-talking about. So the other category is they're working in the DAW, but you also have a camera and audio. So they're like more talking with you while working. Now what I want for myself is to be able to do the latter. Or at least audio. I don't necessarily need to be on camera for that. But I would like to be able to have a microphone to talk, especially with whoever's in the chat. But if I could do the first category, just show you the DAW, the screen, and the audio, but I can't patch in another audio from the microphone. If I were able to do that, I would probably take that. And I would do a stream and I would test it out, see how it goes. Do a stream of my DAW time. I would probably try to interact in the chat. But unfortunately, even that I was not able to do. So that is a bummer. As I say, there may be other options I can explore. Right now, not immediately available. So maybe long term we'll get some DAW streams. That'd be really cool. I'd like to do that. Speaking of Tone Smith, Tone Smith right now has just offered to help with my DAW technical issues. Thank you. Yes, I will take your technical help if you can help. Thank you. That'd be really good if there's some, it in general, I always appreciate the opportunity to have a second set of eyes on something, with or without, any kind of special knowledge. But just purely having a second set of eyes, that's the sort of thing where it's like, hey, did you realize it's not plugged in? So I would love it if that's the problem. If there's some like easy, simple thing that I accidentally unplugged or what have you, Are you familiar with, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, but you probably can't really see it very well. Are you familiar with za'atar? The spice? Za'atar? I'm probably pronouncing it wrong. I've only seen it in writing. I have some za'atar chicken here with cauliflower and green olives. It's really dope. It's also got some barley grain for a nice well-roundedness to it. I've also got a dish of asparagus down there that I gotta eat too. What are you eating? I'm getting caught up on the chat more now. I see there's some discussion around languages. That's awesome. I'm a fan of languages. It may or may not be obvious, but I speak English. American English. I have studied Spanish, mostly Latin American Spanish. I'd studied Spanish in a school setting for I'm not sure exactly how many years. Something like 6 or 7 years. I was planning to minor in Spanish for my undergraduate. Maybe planning is too strong. I was considering that as one very natural option. How about that? So I might have had a Spanish minor, but once I formally enrolled in it and I started looking at the classes, I had a class that I registered for that was, I believe it was the history of Spain, but the class was taught in Spanish. Like the lectures were given in Spanish. If I had questions, I was expected to ask them in Spanish. Certainly the book and everything was in Spanish. It wasn't like Spanish for the student learning who is a native English speaker. Like it was just a book, a Spanish book. And that was beyond my level. I wasn't able to handle that level of fluency. So I dropped the Spanish minor, and I don't believe I took any Spanish classes further beyond that. I still would once in a while read something. Certainly, by that time the internet was a thing. That's how long ago I was going to school, when the internet was like barely becoming a thing. So by that point I knew, some people. I remember I had one like somewhat ongoing correspondence with a producer in Argentina, and I would speak with him in Spanish. So I, got practice, but at this point, I don't really use the Spanish much. I do Duolingo every day, yes, to maintain the Spanish that I have. And I do learn things. It's always like, oh, I never quite understood that grammar, function or whatever. So I do still learn things with Duolingo, but it is mostly just about having some kind of Spanish flex on a daily basis. Not fluent. I am not fluent in Spanish, but I can read and write okay if there's no time pressure. Speaking and listening, I'm not fluent, so it's not, I'm still like translating. There's a limit to how much I can just talk in Spanish because I'm thinking in Spanish. It's not like that quite for me. I'm still doing like translations for a number of things. Oh, how do I conjugate this verb? That kind of stuff. Highly knowledgeable, but not very well exercised. How about that? I studied German a little bit, just voluntarily, because I like languages. So I studied German a little bit. I did take it formally in school, but I had already been studying it before I took it in school. I don't know how long I studied German. Not terribly long, probably like a year or two. When I visited Berlin, which was an awesome experience, and I loved it. Berlin was a fantastic experience. I went there, I think it was the beginning of November one year. It was like, oh man. Oh my goodness, was that 10 years ago? I think it was. Oh wow. Yeah, 10 years ago it was. As we record this, by the way, it's March 22nd, 2026. Shout out to my people in the year 7017. Anyway, when I visited Berlin, I tried to practice my German, which was not awesome, It would have been, my German was enough for, like, going to the store and buying something. It was good enough for that. So I go into a store and I'm like, German, 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 and the person would just, like, barely miss a beat. You can see there's a moment of processing that they're doing. And then they're just like, English, 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 English. And I was like, oh. So they always knew that I don't know if they knew I was American. They probably did. But they certainly knew that German was not my native tongue and that I was an English speaker. So, I appreciate the fact that they had to move the line and stuff. There were a couple of times where I had to use the German because the person didn't speak English. And that was good. So I got to practice that. I also study Hebrew. My regulars know that I'm a serious student of the Holy Torah, and I study it in Hebrew on a daily basis. So that's another language that I study, although it's study for reading the Torah. It's not studying it just for the sake of it. Although there is that too. Because Hebrew is awesome. If you don't know much about Hebrew, Hebrew is really awesome. It is not like, English or Spanish or German. It's not just a bunch of words. There's all sorts of complicated math and like poetic transposition, and it's so rich and marvelous. So it's more than just a language. It's like another way of thinking. But that's it. Those are the languages. I mean, on Duolingo, I've played around with a couple of other ones. I played around with Dutch a little bit. I understand Dutch is a somewhat widely used language. Dutch, I tinkered around with I'll open it up on Duolingo for a couple of lessons, like not studied it. I think technically I did Japanese once or twice, but that also I never for any period of time persisted with that. There surely was French, I visited Paris once, and so I wanted to study a little bit of French. So I did study a small amount of French. Very, very, very little. I don't remember virtually any of it. I'm getting caught up on the chat here. There's a lot of language-related discussion, which again is so cool. I like language so much. I'm such a fan of language. I mean, as a rapper, that's probably not a surprise. The fact that I am a lyricist and I'm into creative use of language and such, it's probably not a shock to hear that I'm also into language in general, which I am. To me, language is a really critical thing. Like, most people, this is not something I can say I've directly observed. This is not observable. But supposedly, I am told, I hear, that most people in the world use language just sort of intuitively. They don't really think about what they're saying necessarily. They certainly don't think about things that when it's a native tongue. All this is native tongue, by the way. When it's their native tongue, that they just sort of talk, and they don't have like all sorts of thought processes and filters and things, and I should choose this word but not that word and all this kind of stuff. I do have that. I'm almost always carefully thinking about what I'm saying. Right now, as I'm talking to you, it's somewhat intuitive. It's mostly just coming out. But I am being careful. I'm aware of what I'm saying. And depending on the intensity of the situation I'm in which my perception of the gravity of my expressions is increased, I become a lot more like visibly deliberate with my language. In fact, just a moment ago I did there, if you caught when I was slowing down as I said whatever it was I just said there 5 seconds ago, 10 seconds ago. When the consequences of my expressions are whatever I said there, my pace visibly slowed down there. Or if I'm in a situation where I perceive the consequences to be significant, notable, worthy of my attention, then I'm definitely not in a mode of just talking and whatever comes out, comes out. I'm very much not like that at all. English is my native language, but I translate into English in real time. I'm still getting caught up with what's going on here. Tone says, language is a muscle. Bam. Splatting that right on the screen. Splat. Split-ow. One of the greatest parts of studying other languages, like the fact that I studied Spanish for so long, and at a young age, I started studying Spanish when I was, I believe the first Spanish class I had I had when I was 12. So let's just say that. I don't believe I had any Spanish experience before that. So it happened at a young age, which means that not only, you know, it's easier for younger people to learn languages, etc., but also it's more deeply ingrained in my mind, like literally in my brain. There is wiring that is a consequence of the fact that I studied Spanish. And so that's with me. That's like, it's part of me. And so even as I look at something like Tone's comment right here on the screen, where he says language like a muscle, if you don't work it out, it fades. Sometimes I look at that and I'll be like, it fades. And that will be my actual first interpretation of it. And so I'm like, I have to remind myself, oh wait, this isn't Spanish. But sometimes things look kind of like Spanish. There are times I do think in Spanish, despite what I said earlier. Earlier I was saying I usually don't think in Spanish. Sometimes I do. A little bit. Simple, short sentences. Tone says he went to Barcelona and got better. I believe that. I was definitely understanding German better when I was in Berlin. Just being immersed in it. I could parse more of it auditorily. I'm still getting caught up on the chat here. Thomas is talking about manga and anime for Japanese, I imagine. Tone says shalom. I return that with also a shalom. Mylogify says, where are your ancestors from? It's like, whoa. I don't actually know. I do not know. Even if you have things like whatever, what is that DNA something in me? I forget what it's called. But there's some service you could sign up for where they sequence your DNA and all this, and you know, supposedly they can tell you this, that, and the other thing about where your ancestry's from. Okay. That tells you biologically. That doesn't tell you culturally. That doesn't tell you, I mean, a lot of things. And we also don't know how completely accurate that is. So I don't know. I just don't know. I know that the most recent couple generations were in the United States. That I can confirm. Or I guess I can't confirm, but I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it's such a bummer that like the way the reality is structured, we don't have access to the past. Like the only thing you can get is now. It's like, all right, I want to get some evidence for something in the past. It's like, you're out of luck. You can't do that. There's like a finite set of molecules and they're just constantly shifting around and we call that time. But that's it. Like the material universe is just these molecules moving around. Look, my hand is moving and we call this time. There's no past. You can't go and like get a sampling of the past. I've talked previously about how you have a time machine in you. In the form of memories, and you can go and, depending on how much you've developed this muscle in yourself, you can regress. You can go back into a past experience and sort of like reconstruct it and relive it. You don't relive it in the sense of the physical universe, the physical matter, you know, this three-dimensional universe where things are made of molecules. That's not where you relive it. You relive it in a different place, a different dimension. But you have access to that. And that same part of you that has access to memories, you can imagine for the future. It's the same mechanism in you. It's the same time machine that you have built into you. But it's about something that you anticipate or want to happen, or ideally you're not imagining things you fear. That's probably not a good move. Like that's not the direction you steer your time machine. You don't steer it directly into a tree at 70 miles an hour. That is not the move. That's something that you should take down and not follow those instructions. You should instead imagine at least maintenance of all the positive. At the very minimum, status quo for maintaining all the good functional things in your life. That's what you should be imagining at the absolute minimum. But anyone who puts time and energy into imagination as a tool for navigating your life, or more precisely, a tool for navigating your future, then, any practitioner of imagination as a tool, not just as a recreation, they know that you gotta imagine good stuff. Imagine far beyond what you believe could be possible. You generally should be imagining in general terms rather than for specific details. I think there was something I was talking about and then I lost track and started talking about your time machine, your biological time machine that you were born with. It'd be cool if people knew how to use that more naturally. Like everybody knows what I'm talking about when I when I bring up this idea of your own natural organic time machine that you have that's part of you, and it's called your mind. You inhabit your mind. It's not that you are your mind. You inhabit your mind just like you inhabit your body. Some people call your mind your mental body. It's a different dimension, but it's every much you inhabiting it. And it's a time machine. I mean, that's what your mind is. And it would be cool if more people understood it like this. And you could intentionally go into the past, recreate situations. If there's something you want to cherish, you can, keep it alive, essentially. If there's something you had a trauma with, you can go back into it and sort of re-experiencing it to the degree that you need to, but then also make whatever moves you need to let go. All of this stuff is, straightforward and obvious if you use your mind like a time machine. Oh, I'm so worried about what's going to happen. Okay, well, why don't you just step into your time machine and fast forward to the future? It's not that your expectations or your imaginations are guaranteed to happen. In fact, there's probably not an extraordinarily great chance that the first couple times you do this, there's not a great chance that you'll have a very big correlation between what you imagine and what occurs. Part of what you discover when you do this is that you can't leave the material world behind. You can't just be like, oh well, I'm gonna just go and imagine stuff. It's like no. Like that's it. That's all there is really. There's only one everything. That's one of my favorite things to say. There's only one everything. And so, even though you have this biological time machine, your mind, you also have your body though. Like you're all of it. You don't move from one to another. So eventually, what I was building up to saying, eventually, once you do this stuff for lengthy periods, people who do this stuff realize that, like, you can't just go off in your own little personal desires, your own little personal fantasies, your own little personal, like, oh, I'm gonna generate a, you know, an offshoot universe in which this is what matters. It's like, you don't really have an option. You are here. And so everything that you do has got to be sort of, in some way, at least acknowledging and cooperating with what's already going on. And ultimately you realize that that's all you really want anyway. What's really going on. You want to have your take or your influence upon what's happening. It's here and now that you're wanting to be part of. Getting caught up on the chat here, and I was very thrilled and excited to see Davey has joined us, which is nice. Still getting caught up on the chat here. Whew, okay, what's happening here? I am 15 minutes behind. I think it's actually 16. I'm 16 minutes behind on the chat, okay? Not my personal best, but I'm getting caught up. And Tone says, you listen to NPR, there's something called A Way with Words. I have not heard of A Way with Words. They talk about where phrases in English come from. I like English. Thank you for, I've not heard of that, no. But thanks for suggesting that. I do like to hear that kind of, what is the word, etymology? I don't know if I'm saying the right word there. But like the the origin of how language evolved and such. In this discussion about language, and Davey arrives. I know, Davey, you speak another language. Do you speak German? Is that what you speak? I'm not sure what your native tongue is. I was speaking briefly about German earlier. Tone says, yeah, etymology, he also thinks is the word. Okay, cool. We are on the same page. That's good. Oh, man. Oh, goodness. Did you see? Did you notice, friends? Did you see? George has joined us, which is really, really good. That's nice. I like that. That's good. It worked out. That's good. Yeah. Milky also coming through to confirm. Etymology indeed is the word. Okay, good. Yeah, nice. So that's cool. We got that show from Tone, Away with Words. I have a, I wish I could remember it right now off the top of my head. You know what? Maybe I'll put this in the chat since I'm putting links in the chat today. Now the question is, how quickly can I find this? Oh, goodness. I'm looking for a collaboration I did with the... How shall I describe him? The gigantic... How do I describe him? Massive. All right, I'm trying. It wasn't on YouTube, but it's a collaboration I did with Denku. Tayamu Denku. All right, I'm going to have a link here momentarily. This is good. This is good, friends. Yes, I got it. Here comes the link. I hope you're ready. It's coming in the chat here. Nice. There it is. It's in the chat, friends. So this is a collaboration I did with Tayamu Denku. Tenku. Tenku is a rapper. I guess he does some production, but really rap is what he's known for. That's his thing. He was somebody who I used to play a lot of shows with. That's how I met Tenku. He would always be playing shows, on the same bill as me. Or if I wasn't playing that night, he might have been on the bill. Or if I was playing that night and he wasn't, he was there and that kind of stuff. He was just kind of always around in my scene, in my local scene. And he is so gigantically successful. He is like the hard-working, self-built, legendary one in 100,000 success case. It's pretty inspiring, actually, to observe his growth and progress. Anyway, he, as I put in the chat, he had me on one of his songs, on one of his albums. That was, I don't know, that was probably a little less than 10 years ago or something, that song there that I just linked. And in my lyrics, I have the third verse on that song. In my lyrics, I'm, at least for part of it, I'm talking about like using words. And in there I say something about, I forgot how the lyrics go. I would like to remember how the lyrics go. I say something about like, I don't use words for expressing myself. I use words as a tool for summoning. Like I get into that in that verse there. A lot of my rap lyrics, especially my old stuff, like I got into some really non-traditional things. This, whoa! Still got all the reverb, oh my goodness. We got this comment here from Milky. I feel this is pretty good. I don't think I need to make any further comment about this. If I were to write a book about this time machine thing that I talk about once in a while, what should that be called? What should that be called? What should it be called? I actually have tried to write multiple drafts of that book over the years. But my approaches so far have all just been like, this isn't quite gonna fly. The approach I'm taking in the book to talk about it. And for the most part, it has not been my approach, that is. The approach that I take, or I have taken, has not been about, you have a biological time machine. It's called your mind. It's been totally different approaches that I'm not going to go into right now. Not metaphorical. I tried talking about it like literally, mathematically. And they all, it needs something that's going to make the reader want to read it. That's what I'm talking about here. The idea of a time machine, though, I think that's perhaps the most captivating packaging that I've yet begun to explore. So if I were to have such a book, I see Probes has already, this is pretty much it. I don't think I need to think any further about the name of the book. This is going to be it. Friends, this has been such a good experience together with you. I love doing this with you. The time has come, my friends, for the closing cheers. Grab your drink. We are doing this right now. It's going to be so good and togetherful. You're going to feel so united. You're going to know that we're together, my friends, on 1 and 2, and you know it on 3. Clank. Cheers, my friends. Man, that is good. That is good. That's good. That's good. That's really good. That's just good. That's really good. It's good. Please like this video. Please subscribe. Please share this video where it will be well received. Friends, thank you for being here today. Such a dope beat we got. We got some nice mental time machine discussion going on. This is so good. I hope to see you again in the next live stream. My regulars know that we do this. We get together here at your favorite online hangout. Your favorite online hangout. Multiple times a week. When we talk, that's called Tinker Time. When it's purely instrumental with the loopers and the synth, that's called Unspoken. At the top of the screen right now, we have the regularly scheduled streams each week. You can put these in your calendar. Eastern U.S. time zone every Sunday at 1 p.m. Every Tuesday at 9 p.m. Put those in your calendar. And my regulars know that we get together a bunch more each week. Usually at least another couple times a week. It could be any day, any time. Enable notifications now so that you can join us for those unscheduled streams. And until then, my friends, until then, please have a very good rest of your day today. Please allow the rest of your day today to bring you all manner of goodness and blessing today. Please allow yourself to become more today than what you woke up as today. Please shine and polish your soul today in the ways that you can only do today. And I will see you in the next Reconsider It live stream.